Hey, fun science video for you. So here is something called a Wimshurst machine. It's kind of a funky looking contraption, but you can see right here, it's got these two metal balls, okay, which I'm not gonna touch because they will shock me if I touch them. And what I'm gonna do is when I crank this wheel is going to spin one way and this wheel is going to spin another, and what it's doing is it's going to start to build up an electric charge on one of these sides. And when that electric charge builds enough, you're going to start to see little sparks occurring between those two little balls up there. And that's what you're going to hopefully see. So let's go ahead and see this. And you can see it's happening pretty fast in between those two things. You're hearing that little spark, 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 spark. But according to what we learned on the slide we're looking at, it says that as you increase the distance, that it's harder for that electric potential energy to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this apart a little bit. And in spreading this apart a little bit, it's not going to tick quite as fast. It's going to take a little while to build up. So let's do that. We'll build it up. There we go. And you can see, you can see when I build it up, you can actually see a bigger spark between it. But there's a distance at which, it shocked me a little, there's a distance at which it will no longer bridge that gap. I always don't like it when I get shocked by this. There we go. It'll still bridge that distance, but notice it takes a little longer for that to build up. But you also see that the spark is brighter. But if I spread these out really far, say something like this, it's not going to be able to probably bridge that gap. It cannot build enough to bridge that gap. I'm just cranking, nothing. But if I bring these a little closer together, watch, we'll get a discharge. But there is a limit, all right? There's a limit to how far the distance can actually travel, all right? And that diminishes very, very rapidly with electric potential energy. It can only go a certain distance before, even if you build up the charge really, really sufficiently. So I just thought that was a cool, so when you're watching it, when it's really close, it's like tick, 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 tick. When it got a little further, it was like tick, tick. And when it got even further, it was like tick, tick. But it was a bigger spark. But it got too far, you couldn't see it. So one more time, let's just finish with seeing a little bit here. Let's crank her up and see a couple more sparks, hopefully. Here we go. Maybe one nice, good last one to go on. Maybe. There we go. Did you see that one? We'll do one more big one. There we go. Have a great day. Science is fun. This is, again, it's called a Wimshurst machine. If you want to look that up online, some people build big Wimshurst machines and they do some pretty cool stuff. You can probably find some fun videos with people doing weird things with Wimshurst machines. But again, what it does is it builds up an electric potential energy in one of these sides. When it builds big enough, it'll bridge that gap and you'll get that nice spark. Science is awesome. Have a good day.